Hello everyone, my name is Mishween Kaur Kharbanda and my topic is China factor in Indo-US relations during Cold War period. So in my abstract I have talked about firstly the India's non-alignment policy which led to the complex relationships between the US and India. Next, in 1962 war, we can again see that there was a realignment between India and US as US provided aid to India. Next, India felt neglected after the US China's cordial relations after 1971 war, as after the Indian Pakistan War of 1971 the ties between the India and US declined gradually. In the introduction, I have talked about the period after 1947 when the Cold War started. After the Cold War started, the world was divided into the two power blocks or the ideologies, which were capitalism and communism, and India was the member of NAM. China saw India as unequal and used it for its own interest, as China always looked at India through the lens of its own relations with the USSR or US. And hence, China influenced the India and US relations by using its strategic moves. If I talk about India and US relations, so as I have mentioned before about the NAM, US was against it and considered NAM as immoral bloc, but India joined NAM. So it made the relationship between the both countries more complex. Next, when US formed CETO and Central Treaty Organization uh, and and when Pakistan joined it, it was the initial stage when we can see the distrust between the two countries. But both the countries became the allies soon, as after the 1962 war, US provided political, military, and diplomatical help to India and provided various aids which made their relationship more strong. Next, in 1971 war, when Bangladesh was formed, US consistently supported Pakistan and not India. And after the India Pakistan war, when US only supported Pakistan, India signed a friendship treaty with USSR as a reaction against the US. So here we can see the dynamic relationship and the changes between the US and India ties. So next we'll see the China factor, which played a major strategic role between their relationship and how it impacted it. So there was ongoing geopolitical rivalry of India and China, which included territorial disputes, ideological differences, and strategic alliances. Especially, we can see the major border dispute issue up in the 1962 period when the issue was over Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh. It was the major turning point which left a mistrust and a clash between both the countries. But if I talk about the US and China relationship, we can see a major shift between the hostility and the cordial relationship between both the countries. In 1950s, US supported anti-communist regimes. Also, US gave support to Taiwan, and when there was a Sino-Soviet split, US found it as a great opportunity to mark its own place. Though in 1971, after the visit of President Nixon to China, it transformed the relations to a cordial one. As we can see, China played a key role which impacted Indo US ties, and now we are going to see the impacts on the relations. So, firstly, both the countries, India and US, saw China as a common threat, both an ideological and an economic threat to both against both the countries. Next, the US support to India was a direct impact of 1962 war which led to the good ties. Next is the reapproachment. Next is the reapproachment between US and China, and also the US support to Pakistan due to China, wherein India felt abandoned by both the countries, and especially the ties between US and India were declining. Next impact, which further increased the gap between US and India, was the India's alignment with USSR and increasing ties between both the countries by signing the Friendship Treaty. So, the next very interesting concept of triangle, which is formed by the three countries, wherein US is considered as eagle, China as dragon, and India as elephant. US is considered as eagle because it focuses mostly on its own geopolitical interest, and it plays a major role by forming an alliance with China. Whereas China is considered as a dragon, as it is considered as a major power which influenced US and India strategies. Next, India is considered as elephant because it majorly focuses on its own security policies and it supports Soviet Union. Now I would like to conclude my presentation by mentioning that China was considered both China's role was considered both as a cooperation and a tension. Secondly, the impacts were on regional security, trade, and strategic partnership between the countries. And lastly, the strong relations between US and India were seen as a both a hope and a uncertainty. So, if China's influence grows, its actions will remain a key factor in determining the future of Indo and US relations. Thank you.